Think you know your own body? Think again. From bones stronger than steel concrete to organs that can literally rebuild themselves from scratch, you are walking around in one of the most complex pieces of biotech in the universe. Today, we are diving deep into the most bizarre, fascinating, and flat-out unbelievable facts about the human body. 1. Babies are born with about 300 bones, but adults only have 206, many fused together during growth. 2. Your body's tiniest bone, the stapes in your ear, is smaller than a grain of rice. 3. The femur, thigh bone, is your body's longest and strongest bone. 4. Your skull is made up of 22 separate bones fused together. 5. Bones are about as strong as some grades of steel, but far lighter. 6. Bones continuously rebuild themselves. Your skeleton today isn't made of the same material it was a decade ago. 7. There are 27 bones in each hand, including the wrist. 8. The hyoid in your throat is the only bone in your body not connected to another bone. 9. Human feet contain 52 bones combined, about a quarter of all the bones in your body. 10. Cartilage, not bone, makes up your ears and the tip of your nose, which is why they keep changing shape as you age. 11. The human body has over 600 muscles. 12. It takes about 17 muscles to smile and more to frown, though the exact frowning takes more muscles claim is often exaggerated. 13. The strongest muscle relative to its size is the masseter, in your jaw. 14. Your heart is a muscle that beats about 100,000 times a day without ever resting the way skeletal muscles do. 15. The word muscle comes from the Latin for little mouse, since ancient Romans thought a flexing bicep looked like one running under the skin. 16. It's virtually impossible to tickle yourself, because your brain predicts and cancels out sensations you cause yourself. 17. Your tongue is made of 8 interwoven muscles with no bone to support it, similar in structure to an elephant's trunk or an octopus's arm. 18. Blinking uses a small muscle and happens 15-20 times a minute on average, more than 10 million times a year. 19. Goosebumps come from tiny muscles at the base of hair follicles, a leftover reflex from ancestors with thicker fur. 20. You have more muscles in one hand than in your entire upper arm. 21. Skin is the body's largest organ. 22. You shed roughly 4 kilograms 9 pounds of dead skin cells every year. 23. Hair grows about half an inch per month, though the rate varies by person and body part. 24. Fingernails grow faster than toenails. 25. The average adult has around 5 million hair follicles on the body, most too fine to notice. 26. Your fingerprints form before birth and stay the same shape for life, though they can be scarred or worn temporarily. 27. Your tongue's surface pattern is also unique to you, like a fingerprint. 28. Goosebumps and shivering are both ways your body tries to generate or trap heat. 29. Sweat itself is odorless. Body odor comes from bacteria breaking it down on your skin. 30. The average adult has about 4 pounds of bacteria living on and inside their body. 31. The adult brain weighs about 3 pounds, roughly 2% of body weight, yet uses about 20% of the body's energy. 32. The we only use 10% of our brain claim is a myth. Brain imaging shows we use virtually all of it, just not all at once. 33. Nerve signals can travel at speeds up to about 250 miles per hour in some neurons. 34. Your brain has no pain receptors itself, which is why brain surgery can be performed on conscious patients. 35. The brain is sometimes more electrically active during certain sleep stages than during calm wakefulness. 36. Most people forget the vast majority of their dreams within minutes of waking. 37. The funny bone isn't a bone at all, it's the ulnar nerve, exposed at a vulnerable spot near the elbow. 38. Your brain generates enough electricity to power a small LED light. 39. Human embryos briefly develop a small tail around week 5 or 6 of gestation, which is later absorbed and becomes the coccyx, tailbone. 40. The brain itself feels like soft tofu in texture and is mostly water and fat. 41. The heart beats roughly 100,000 times a day and about 2.5 billion times in an average lifetime. 42. Laid end to end, an adult's blood vessels would stretch far enough to circle the earth multiple times. 43. The aorta, your largest blood vessel, is a little more than an inch in diameter. 44. Blood makes up about 7-8% of your total body weight. 45. Veins look blue through skin not because the blood inside is blue, but because of how light scatters and reflects off skin and tissue. Human blood is always red. 46. Red blood cells are replaced constantly. Each one lives for about 4 months. 47. A single drop of blood contains millions of red blood cells. 48. Your heart is roughly the size of your fist. 49. Blood type AB negative is the rarest of the 8 main blood types. 50. It takes less than a minute for a red blood cell to complete one full circuit around your body. 51. Your mouth produces around a liter of saliva every day. 52. Stomach acid is strong enough to dissolve some metals, but a constantly renewed mucus lining protects your stomach wall from digesting itself. 53. Food typically takes about 6-8 hours to pass through the stomach and small intestine, with full digestion, through the colon, taking around 1-3 days total. 54. Your gut is home to trillions of bacteria. Microbial cells in and on your body roughly match or outnumber your own human cells. 55. The small intestine is about 20 feet long, much longer than your actual height. 56. Your liver can regenerate itself, regrowing to full size even after up to 2/3 of it is removed. 57. Taste buds are replaced roughly every couple of weeks, though the rate slows as you age. 58. The tongue has thousands of taste buds, each containing dozens to about 100 receptor cells. 59. Humans can distinguish thousands of different smells, and smell strongly influences perceived taste. 60. Hiccups are caused by involuntary spasms of the diaphragm. 61. Your eyes are almost fully grown at birth and barely change size throughout your life, unlike your nose and ears, which keep growing due to cartilage. 62. It's nearly impossible to sneeze with your eyes open, though the old myth that your eyes would pop out if you did is false. 63. Each eye has around 120 million rod cells for black and white or low light vision and about 6 million cone cells for color vision. 64. Human eyes can distinguish millions of different color shades. 65. About 1 in 12 men has some form of color blindness, compared to a much smaller fraction of women. 66. The cornea has no blood vessels. It gets oxygen directly from the air and from tears. 67. Tears for emotional crying, reflex crying, like from cutting onions, and basal lubrication actually have slightly different chemical compositions. 68. Newborns don't produce emotional tears until they are about a month old. 69. Your eyes can detect an enormous range of light, adjusting between very dim and very bright environments. 70. Each eye has a natural blind spot where the optic nerve connects, which your brain automatically fills in. 71. The 3 smallest bones in the human body, the malleus, incus, and stapes, are all in your middle ear. 72. Earwax protects your ear canal from dust, bacteria, and infection. 73. Your ears, like your nose, keep slowly growing throughout adulthood due to ongoing cartilage growth. 74. Loud noise exposure can permanently damage the tiny hair cells in your inner ear, which don't regenerate in humans. 75. Your ears also manage balance, using fluid-filled canals that detect motion and head position. 76. Adults breathe roughly 15-20 times a minute, over 10 million breaths a year and hundreds of millions in a lifetime. 77. A sneeze can expel air and droplets at high speed, commonly cited around 100 miles per hour, though real measurements vary quite a bit by person and sneeze. 78. Your lungs contain hundreds of millions of tiny air sacs called alveoli, giving them a huge internal surface area for gas exchange. 79. Yawning increases blood flow and may help cool the brain, though scientists still debate its exact purpose. 80. Hiccups and yawns are both reflexes whose evolutionary purpose isn't fully settled among researchers. 81. Microorganisms living on and in your body may outnumber your own human cells, though estimates of the exact ratio have been revised over the years. 82. Your belly button alone can host dozens of distinct species of bacteria. 83. Fever is your body's deliberate defense mechanism, raising your internal temperature to make conditions worse for invading pathogens. 84. Mucus isn't just a nuisance, it constantly traps dust, bacteria, and irritants before they reach your lungs. 85. Tiny hair-like structures called cilia sweep mucus up and out of your airway continuously, even when you're healthy and don't notice it happening. 86. Humans have roughly 20,000 protein coding genes, fewer than some fruits, including certain tomato varieties, which highlights that gene count alone doesn't determine complexity. 87. Identical twins share nearly all of their DNA but can still develop different fingerprints. 88. Newborns can't produce their own body heat as efficiently as adults, which is part of why they need to be kept warm. 89. Children tend to grow somewhat faster during spring than other seasons, according to some pediatric growth studies. 90. Human height typically peaks in the late teens to early 20s, once growth plates in the bones fuse. 91. You're very slightly taller in the morning than at night. Spinal cartilage compresses slightly over the course of a day. 92. Every person's genome differs from another's by only a small fraction of a percent, yet that tiny difference accounts for all human variation. 93. Humans are poor sprinters compared to many animals, but among the best long-distance runners on the planet, partly thanks to our efficient sweat-based cooling system. 94. Wisdom teeth are considered evolutionary leftovers from ancestors who needed extra chewing power for a coarser diet. 95. The appendix was long dismissed as a useless leftover organ, but current research suggests it may serve as a reservoir for beneficial gut bacteria. 96. About 1 in several thousand babies is born with a tooth already present. 97. Roughly 1 in 10 people is left-handed, and left-handedness has been linked to certain differences in brain structure, though the underlying causes are still studied. 98. The 5 senses model is a simplification. The body also senses balance, temperature, and pain through distinct systems beyond taste, touch, sight, smell, and hearing. 99. Goosebumps, blushing, and shivering are all involuntary responses controlled by the autonomic nervous system, not conscious choice. 100. Despite centuries of study, scientists still don't fully understand exactly why humans sleep, yawn, or dream the way we do. Some of the most basic human functions remain genuinely open questions in biology. And that wraps up our countdown of mind-blowing human body facts. It is honestly incredible what our bodies do behind the scenes every single second just to keep us moving. Which fact surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button, subscribe for more amazing science and trivia, and I will see you in the next video. Stay curious.